Today on Mike's Place, weeded bourbon. So welcome back to Mike's Place, where we talk about bourbon and whiskey and related topics of interest. And today, like I said, it is weeders. What is a weeded bourbon? If you know about this, you might want to just fast forward and I'll taste these guys later. I understand, years ago, I didn't really have a grasp on what makes a weeded bourbon a weeded bourbon. Here it is in a really simple nutshell. Bourbon has to be 51% corn by law. Corn is a very sweet grain, so bourbon producers typically use the spicier rye grain to kind of counteract some of that sweetness of the corn and create a more complex product. Also, distillers tend to use malted barley because the enzymes tend to react well to the entire mash and generate contact and alcohol production from the starches in the grains. But if I'm making a weeded bourbon, I'm replacing the spicy rye grain with wheat. Why? Well, rye is spicy. Wheat is a smooth, soft grain. Also, wheat's a lot cheaper than rye. So as a business person, maybe you're thinking, hey, if I can make a weeded bourbon, I'll save some money on the grain bill and make a nice smooth whiskey. Now this bad boy, Weller Special Reserve. People love it, people hate it, people hunt for it. I happen to have a little sampler of it right here from a tasting event I saved. So I'm going to pour that into this glass. And over here I have one you may have seen on the shelf, and it looks a lot like something your grandfather might keep in the basement. It's David Nicholson 1843. Also a weeded bourbon, both weeders. Now, David Nicholson was actually a store owner in St. Louis in the 1800s, and he repeatedly made his own bourbon and sold it out of his pharmacy or store. This is by Luxrow, and it pays homage to David Nicholson's weeded bourbon. And here's the deal. This, if you can find it, is about $25 to $30 retail. If you can actually find it in Missouri, often it's marked up, at $80, $90 for a bottle that, well, it's good stuff. But for me, $90 for this, I can spend $90 a lot better. This guy is about $25. And the question is, can this weird looking grandpa bottle hold up to the legend of the Weller? Well, let's do a little taste test here. Now, I will say that David Nicholson is, of course, more available, which is lovely. And trash goes that way. I actually found a place that had this for $15 not too long ago. $15. So, let me pour an equal amount of David Nicholson into my glass over here. And in Mike's Place, we don't look at color because that's just not what I do. It's nose, palate, and finish. And I typically rate these on a simple 0, 1, 2 scale. 1 is what I expect, 0 means it's missing something or it's off, and 2 just means it's exceptional in some way. So the Weller, I know it well. There it is. Not complex, actually very simple. I'm wearing glasses because I'm a total dork. Never mind. The nose is not complex, but it's nice. It's sweet. Got some caramel. It has a little nut to it. Almost like a hazelnut to me for my palate. Again, my palate, not yours or anybody else's. So what I smell and taste is what I smell and taste, and it's okay. On the David Nicholson 1843, not complex either. But along with the sweetness, there's sort of a layer that reminds me of brown butter. And to be fair, This is 90 proof. This is 100 proof. So typically, the high proofers are going to show more flavor for my palate. Into the Weller. That is such an easy drink. I mean, it just sweet, honey, caramel. It has a little oiliness to it, which I really like in a bourbon. Little spice, tiny amount of spicy kick to it, but really, just a really nice, easy drinking bourbon. You got to give it up. You can make fun of this and people searching for it. I'll tell you what, it's a solid pour for me. And when I see it at MSRP, which I do once in a while, I always buy it. And even if I don't buy it for myself, I'll buy it and it's for a friend. Because I have friends who have been looking for this bottle forever and have never seen one on the shelf. So, well, at the shelf at MSRP. Yeah, it's solid. You know, everything's a 1 here for me. No, the nose is a 1, the palate's a 2, finish is a 1. It's expected. So it's a 4. That's a solid pour. David Nicholson. The nose is still a 1 for me. It's a little more complex than the Weller, but nothing off the charts. That's what I expect from a bourbon. Now the palate on this one, all the caramels, all the brown sugar, it's got a black tea note that really stands out. And again, the higher proof, it shows out. Nose is a 1, palate's a 2, finish is a 1, so it's a 4 as well. So I don't have a winner here. I wasn't looking for a winner. I just want to compare 2 wheaters, one that is very difficult to find and one that is easy to find. I'm telling you, if you're hunting Weller Special Reserve, give us a shot. 25 bucks, you know, it is kind of an ugly bottle. It's not fancy or cool. The shape's all right. The label's old-fashioned, but this is a solid wheated bourbon. A lot of flavor. Proof is dead on perfect. Be a great mixer in a cocktail. So, anyways, guys, happy Friday, happy weekend. Stay safe, stay warm. Spring's coming soon. Take care, guys.